My sister's name was Denise. She died of obesity at 25. She had a heart attack. I was so fat and nasty. I would eat anything. I was like 345 pounds. A quart of ice cream every hour. I had so much self-hate when I was like that. I just wanted to kill myself. We're the most powerful country in the world, and we have the most obese, fudgy people. Something has to be done about processed food in this country.
I want to be really clear. I don't know the details of Mike Tyson's personal journey with weight loss. And honestly, that's not the point. What is the point is how this type of messaging lands, especially for kids. But honestly, adults too. The tone was way harsher than the topic. You can talk about health and food without the fear, shame, and judgment that this ad had. This message was incredibly harsh. And instead of being helpful, it just felt really judgmental. When food messaging sounds more like a warning label or a threat, it doesn't inspire healthier choices. It creates guilt, fear, shame, and anxiety. And kids of all groups of people really absorb that. I know it wasn't necessarily meant for kids, but there were a lot of kids watching, and that's really unfortunate. This ad had really black or white thinking, and nutrition doesn't work that way. One of the biggest problems here is how processed food, which almost everything is processed, is treated as one bad category. But the reality is that most foods are processed in some way. Even whole foods are processed, frozen, canned, chopped, and cooked. Processing itself is not the problem. What we actually need to talk about are ultra-processed foods that are lacking nutrients. When we collapse everything into processed equals bad, we lose all nuance. And that is not how real families eat. Also, this kind of messaging really damages relationships with food. It creates fear around eating. It leads to moral judgments about food, good versus bad. And it ties body size to worth or health. And for kids, this is really dangerous. And a lot of us adults grew up with this exact tone: shame, blame, and restriction. And many of us are still trying to untangle that relationship with food. Messaging like that doesn't heal that. It reinforces it. There's a better way to talk about healthy eating, especially with kids, but honestly, adults too. We can focus on what food does for our body. Some foods fuel our body, some foods fuel our soul. We can avoid the fear and the shame around food or body size. We can also recognize that food is more than the nutrients or the processing it goes through. Food is culture, joy, comfort. And yes, food is also fuel. Honestly, I thought this commercial was really gross, disappointing, and absolutely not helpful. We don't need scare tactics to talk about health. We need clarity, nuance, and accessibility and affordability. Because if the goal is healthier kids and adults, this kind of messaging doesn't move us forward. It actually pushes us backwards.